Okay, wonderful. So hello, everybody. Welcome to week 3, module 3, where we're going to be looking at developing your competitive and pricing strategy. So this should be a very interesting week because we start to get into the nitty-gritty of what the supply chains look like and how you need to price your products depending on which market you're going to. Okay, so let's make a start. So I'll pass over to Tom and I'll stop sharing, who's going to do a little recap from last week. Tom?
Yes, thank you so much, Christina, and thank you so much, team, for joining in again this third week. I think it's been very, very interesting the last 2 weeks. We expect this third week to be equally much more interesting. But I think it's always important for us to remember what we did last week in module 2, so that then again we get to actually appreciate that week 1 was supposed to build on to week 2, week 2 build on to week 3, and then week 3 builds on to week 4. So we had quite a very interesting session Tuesday and Thursday of last week. So today we are not going to use the Padlet, but I'd rather just request you to perhaps raise up your hands and share with us the takeaways that you had in the week that ended on Thursday of last week. So you could perhaps just raise up your hand, and then we give you the opportunity to share with us your takeaways for last week's proceedings. Right? You can see Rachel is talking about one network, but I believe she's working on that. So, yes, Mr. Mpofu, welcome to the podium. Give us your takeaway for last week.
Thank you very much. For me, was the market search, especially what I liked most was the requirements about the chemical, the residues, which needs to be taken care of when you are during production, and also how to search the requirements for certain products. Like, for example, tomatoes or avocado, to say what are the requirements from the EU side before you export. And also to use the research tool which you used. I think the two of them. Of course, the trade map, I once used it, but the other one where we were checking the the requirements and using a code for a certain product, it was new to me. So that's what I learned, which was new.
Thank you very much. Learning all the time. Every time you step into your classroom, you actually come across new things. Thank you so much, Mr. Mpofu, for your takeaways for last week. Any other person could perhaps also wish to share with us what he or she appreciated or took away from the last week's session? Any other volunteer in terms of takeaways? Yes, I can see Gibson. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. What can I say? You opened up my eyes. I didn't know that the UK region are self-sufficient in vegetables, but may lack in the fruit part. I thought before that you can export vegetables anytime, anyhow to the EU market. But it's this time that I have known this, that probably the fruit is what we can be focusing more here in Africa than the vegetables, because there is Spain and Italy, which are great producers, and they are managing to supply all the demand of vegetables in the UK market. So this was new as well to me. In addition to what my colleague has already shared, the access to markets and the trade map, great tools, which I'm going to be using now when I'm searching for markets for products in the region as well as at the international market level. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gibson. Of course, your volume was a bit too low, but we actually captured. You're speaking about opportunities. Well, we heard you. We heard you. It was a bit low, but we heard you. Opportunities in the UK.
Okay.
UK's capability of not actually having fruits. Spain and Italy also being producers, etc. I think that's quite interesting, and appreciation of the trademark tool. Any other person can also share, the last person now, who can also share with us the takeaways for last week. Just one person now, and then we move to the next level. If there is actually nobody, then I could actually just join in what people are saying, because some of the issues just to add on that are, the consumer trends in the EU, which of course we actually covered a laboratory that this is actually a market that is looking towards, getting healthy, natural food, and things to do with sustainability. And of course, we also captured various market opportunities in the European Union. Germany, of course, being the biggest, followed by the Netherlands, United Kingdom, like you say, France, Belgium and the port of Antwerp, and of course, Spain. So we did touch on the various market opportunities in the EU, and then, of course, some market requirements, legislative, commercial, logistical, things to do with the contaminants, MRL issues, HACCP issues, plant health issues, and of course, commercial related issues that have got to do with things to do with the certifications, whether it's organic. These are actually market driven. It is actually the market that then will actually guide us in terms of the certification that we need to do, whether it is organic, BRC, Global Gap, etc. So those are some of the key takeaways, and I really thank you so much for being very attentive and following up through to the conclusion of the two sessions that we had last week. So thank you so much for that. I think then I need to then appreciate the objectives for this particular session that runs today all through to Thursday of next week. Number one is that we need to appreciate the distribution channels of all the products that we're actually doing, whether we are into the domestic, regional, or international markets. We need actually to appreciate the dynamics. How do these goods reach the market from the farmer? Does the farmer sell directly to the processor, or maybe there is a middle person in between that then facilitates that? Okay, and then ask certain questions to do with the cost-effective ways of actually ensuring that the produce moves from the farm to the processing facility, if at all, and then all the way to the regional or international market. So we'll actually interrogate the distribution channels across the value chain that we'll be using as examples. And then number two, and also which of course also touches very closely the topic for the week, is how to design our pricing strategy. Remember, it is actually the price among the marketing mix that actually brings revenue to the organization. You could actually have all your marketing mixes, but if you do not actually get it right at the pricing level, then chances of us talking about even breaking even becomes a major problem. So that is objective number two that we will share with you. And of course, finally, how about the competition? Remember, you are not operating in isolation. You need to map out all the competitors, whether it's at the domestic market, regional, or international market, and also get to appreciate the strategies that these competitors are using. It is only then, after you luckily have understood the environment under which these competitors also operate, that then you will be in a position to craft your marketing strategy and be able to penetrate the market. So yes, today we are going to start off, and the key objectives are just like I have explained. And thereafter, by the end of this week, I think we will actually have asked ourselves whether we have achieved these objectives or not. So having said that, it's my pleasure again to welcome Christina to take us through the next presentation. Welcome, Christina.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to run quickly through distribution channels for market access, just to give you you put everything in situ so that you understand what we're specifically talking about. So here on the right-hand side, you can see the trade channels or the distribution channels that are potentially there for your product. So essentially, the way that it's described is that the distribution channels are independent organizations, or sometimes they get called middlemen, who are involved in the process of making your products available to the consumer. Okay, so it's how your product goes from the moment that you grow it and how it reaches the final consumer. So what I would like us to do quickly, if we can, is can you take a little picture of this paddler? I'll just do this because I'm just going to do this. Can you take the picture of the QR code there? Can you see the QR code? No. I'll share the screen, sorry. Could everybody see the screen earlier?
Yes, you can see it.
You can see it?
Sure.
Were you able to see that before?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, okay. So can I get you to go on, take your phone, and if you've got a smartphone, you can use the QR code. And what I would like you to do is tell me what are your existing distribution channels for local, regional, and international markets. I'm going to put this on the chat. Okay, so you can all see it. I'll stop sharing. So where is the chat? Yes. Okay, here we go. So please go in your chat, you will see a link. So click on that link. If you haven't got the QR code, click on the link and it will take you to a Padlet. Okay. So what I would like you to do, I'll share my screen. Share. What I would like you to do is go into the Padlet. Here. And then think about the products that you currently sell, and then please press on the plus sign to put your comments, put your name here, or just put the product that you have, so avocado, and then tell me in your local market how you get it to your consumer. So and then publish. Okay, so you can move your little thing here, so you go producer to consumer. Okay, and then in your regional markets, in your neighboring markets, how it happens? Do you go to does it go producer to retailer to consumer? Does it go producer, wholesaler, retailer, consumer? Does it go producer, distributor, retailer, consumer? And then does it go producer, agent or broker, wholesaler, retailer, and consumer? So put your comments in here. If you can't use the Padlet for whatever reason, you can put it in the chat and we will pick it up when we come back onto the screen. You can see Clement is just joining. So again, go into the chat and click on the Padlet link.
Sorry, came late.
It's okay, Clement. If you can click on your if you can click on the chat, click on the Padlet link. We are trying to find out how you get your products from the moment of production to the consumer, and how you do that for the local market, the regional market, and the international market, if you have any experience of that.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
So Humphrey says producer to consumer for regional markets. Okay. Ah, okay. Depending on farm gate sales, local shops, traders coming from big towns. Okay. Avocado producer to consumer. Okay. So Humphrey is put regional markets, producer to consumer. So you take it directly to the markets in the region.
Sorry, are you asking me?
No, Clement. I was just talking about Humphrey. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So when you talk about regional markets, are you talking about in the neighboring countries? You take what product is it as well, please?
Sure. Yes, sure. Neighboring countries, we've got very few customers that request for our products, and we send them direct.
Your customers are individuals or businesses?
Individuals.
Okay. And what products are you sending directly? Just so I can edit this for you.
Chili.
Chili, okay. Let me
Yes.
just put this edit. I put here Humphrey. Fresh chili. Humphrey.
Yes.
Fresh chili or box chili or
Come again on the question.
is it fresh chili? Is it
Yes, it's fresh.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
And you okay? We're going to come back to you. I find that super interesting. Okay, mango. We've got producer to aggregator to a wholesale market to the consumer. Okay, so with the mango producer to aggregator, is the aggregator a pack house? Who put mango there for the local market? I can't see who that was. Who wrote this?
Christine, that's me.
Ah, Susan. Is that Susan?
Yeah.
Okay. When you say aggregator, is that a pack house?
Not necessarily. The aggregator could be somebody who has a distribution network. So they have a vehicle where they can, maybe there's a collection center. So it's not necessarily a pack house. It's just that that's where we bring everything to one place. And then the person with the transport system comes and picks it up from there.
Okay. And the wholesale market is
in Nairobi, in most of the major cities have a wholesale market. Nairobi, Mombasa, every major city will have a wholesale market.
for the market. Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Let me see. Avocado producer retailer. Who wrote that one? Who wrote avocado producer retailer? You can unmute yourselves. I can't hear you all necessarily. Avocado producer retailer, Rhoda. So the avocado goes straight from the producer directly to the retailer and then the consumer at the end. Yeah.
Yes, for the local market.
Okay, wonderful. Gibson, mango, producer to consumer, producer to wholesalers, wholesalers to retail local markets. Very good. So you have both. You have experience of both. Producer, direct to consumer, producer to wholesalers. And then, yeah, that's very good.
Yes.
Okay,
Correct.
which one do you prefer? Do you prefer direct to consumers or direct to wholesale markets? Gibson.
Well,
You've got a poor, I think it's Gibson, you're cutting off.
it depends on volume.
Uh-huh.
For large quantities, then we prefer the wholesale. wholesaler markets for farmers who are producing, then direct selling.
Okay,
Yeah,
very
my,
good.
my connectivity today is very poor.
Yeah, I can see. Don't worry, I heard that though. We all heard that. That was good. Thank you.
Yeah.
That gives us a
Okay.
very you mentioned the golden word, which is volume. so that was perfect. Okay, Humphrey
Yes.
Mango producer to consumer. Who was that? Nobody? Nobody there? Okay, Lupen University. So we've got farm gate sales, so producer to retailers, the local shops, and traders coming from big towns. These could be agents, what we call agents here. So it could be producer, agents, wholesaler, and retailer. Yeah, and wholesalers. Okay. Regional markets, we already said producer, retailer, consumer. Okay. Who's doing producer, retailer, consumer? Who is this? Mango, producer, retailer, consumer. Is that Rhoda again? No. Who's
No, that's me, Rachel.
Rachel? So,
Yeah.
so this was you here. Producer to consumer in the local market, producer, retailer, consumer in the regional market. What?
Yeah.
How is it working with the retailers? How are the prices?
You have to put they put a markup on the produce if you
Okay.
if you deliver to them.
Okay. And what tends to be the markup that they put in the regional markets?
You have to sell to them at a lower price.
Yeah.
So they put the markup so that they get the profits. But it will be better if we sold directly to the consumer.
Everybody says that. That's true. It's the volume, isn't it? It's the volume and the logistics as well. Okay, thank you. And then here we've got Mango, producer, distributor, retailer, consumer. So we can see that in your supply chains, they're getting longer and longer the further away it is. Producer, retailer, consumer. Okay. So in the international markets, just to be clear, who do you sell to directly in the retail? In which countries?
In Europe.
Uh-huh.
So we do produce, then we sell to the distributors who repackage and sell. But we also do packaging for some of our clients, and then they just go and directly sell.
Okay, good. Okay, that's clear. Okay, and then here in the regional markets, we've got passion fruit producer to aggregator to wholesale market to consumer. So I think that's Susan again, because she uses the word aggregator. Is that you, Susan?
Yes, it is. We like to avoid the word broker because broker has a negative connotation. Broker. So we chose in Kenya. We started to use aggregator just to make it more professional than broker. Broker sounded like an unfair transaction.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, it's funny because every time somebody does mention the word middleman or brokers, it sounds slightly. It sounds like it's slightly unfair, but it's not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, very good point. Thank you for pointing that out. Humphrey, fresh chili producer to consumer. So Humphrey, just a quick one. When you said you go directly to consumer in regional markets, do you post that directly to them or do you sell it at the market?
No, we just send to them. We send them through direct flights that connects our countries.
Okay. And what's the minimum quantity that you send?
It's not much. Just 2 boxes per order.
Okay.
Say in a month, they require 2 boxes. That's what we send.
Okay, and is it very expensive to send to the region?
No, because the freight costs are made by the buyer.
Okay, okay, right. Okay, thank you. Which neighboring country is this? I'm just curious to know why they can't get a hold of it locally.
No, we sent to South Africa, South Africa.
To South Africa. Okay, thank you. That's clear. Thank you. And then here we also have producer, agent, wholesaler, retailer, consumer. Okay, perfect. Right, I will stop sharing this. Here we go. Okay, so now we got to know your supply chains and how you get the product out. So can somebody tell me, so I think Susan picked it up there earlier about broker, the wording of brokers and agents. Okay, so when you're thinking about aggregators or distributors, do you think they're good or they're bad? You can unmute yourselves. We're just gonna have a little discussion. Hello? Unmute. Hands up. Are distributors, middlemen, are they good or bad? It's an open question. There's no right or wrong answer. I'm just trying to get an idea from you. Mr. Mpofu, go ahead.
Thank you. I think it depends from our local context. If you're a distributor or a trader, they see you as somebody who is more profitable and who also can connect with other big business. Because most of the local farmers, they are shy of getting to offices and looking for the market. So then the distributor becomes a link between them and the formal businesses, because they'll be able to navigate through the paperwork which is needed, the registration and all that. So in that sense, it's good. Then it's bad in the sense that some of the unnecessary costs which they incur along the way, they push those costs to the farmer. So that's what I have for now. Thank you.
They push the cost to the farmer. What do you mean? What does that mean?
Like they say tax compliance. So they will push the price to be lower from the farmer so that they cover some of the cost along the way. For example, something like that. So they'll buy at a very low price. So farmers will always complain, or we always complain that this is not the right price. Of course, as the investor farm, we have the advantage of the information and to do these other things. But the local community around us, they'll tell you that traders are not good because their offer prices are very low.
Okay, all right. So sometimes even if they're acting as distributors in the middle, they need to get another they need to add the price on top. So can you put your cameras on, please, so that I can see who's here? Because then I know who I'm going to speak to. Can I ask you all to put your cameras on, please? Because sometimes I don't know if people are here or they're not here. Thank you. If you have a bad reception, for those of you that have bad reception, I don't mind. But I would rather be able to see your faces.
Yes, camera.
Yeah, if you've got a bad reception, Gibson, don't worry. I can see you're on the phone. But if you can, Sylvia, Adaremi, Yvonne, Canisius, are you there? Are you there? Yvonne? Yvonne?
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So that's Adaremi, and then you're here. Right. Can anybody get back on what Mr. Mpofu just said earlier about they pay lower prices because they have to cover certification costs? Does anybody see that as Does anybody see that happening with their supply chains? And is there anything that you can do about that? Anybody? Anybody? Hands up. Gibson, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, it's very common here as well in Malawi, where the smallholder farmers tend to shy away from the competitive market arenas. So what we are trying to do now is to organize them into cooperatives, which helps them to strengthen their capacity to voice out, to speak out and demand certain services. In another way, we are trying to avoid some of the middlemen or the distributors, whom we can do without them. For example, to supply to our supermarket retail shops here. Farmers, when they are in cooperatives, can directly go to those retail supermarkets and supply, unlike when they are in individual settings. So that's what we are trying to do now, to strengthen the farmer organization structures. Thank you.
Okay, so then you can organize more volume and you can keep more of the money.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's one way around it. Very good. Thank you. Does anybody want to talk about the advantages of having distributors? Can anybody say what is good about distributors, whether it's local or regional or international? That's if you can distribute locally, it's fine. But can anybody tell me any advantages that they have of working with aggregators or distributors more widely? Can anybody mention what the advantages would be?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
One of the advantages of distributors is that they are closer to the consumer, and they give feedback easily. They get feedback easily from the consumers.
Okay. Yes. So that is a very valid point. They are closer to the consumer and they give you feedback. That's good. What kind of feedback do they provide you with? Is it quality? Is it feedback from consumers? What is it that they give you feedback on?
Quality, packaging, and price.
Okay. And is that local, regional, or international distributors?
It's local for now.
Local. Okay. All right. Okay, anybody else? Can anybody else say any other advantages about the distributors that they work with? Anybody else?
Can I try, though I'm just joining?
Yes, go ahead. Go, Christopher. Welcome.
Thank you. Putting away context, but I believe it also saves you some costs because distributors have got also their own standards as far as taking the final product to the consumers. So if you want to do everything, you end up getting also certification for transport, for refrigeration, etc., which you can leave this to someone else to take that responsibility, so that you concentrate on what you know best. So you can save some money when it comes to certification and other logistical requirements. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. I would say that's pretty much spot on. It all depends on the resources that you have available to you. If you are a small producer, and Gibson earlier mentioned volume, was it Gibson? But anyway, mentioned volume and then cooperatives. You know, if you're a small producer or you're a small company, you don't necessarily have the capacity to be able to distribute like that, you know. But here are some of the advantages that we had actually made for you, written down for you, just that you kept them in your mind, okay? And I think Susan did right to point out that when we're talking about distributors or aggregators, there's a need to professionalize the language. So they are sometimes, people often refer to them as middlemen, but they are, you can see here on the diagram on the right, that there is a role for different organizations to do everything in the supply chain. So some of the key advantages of using an aggregator, a distributor, or somebody in that supply chain is they may give you access to new markets. So sometimes they already have the customers at the end. And this is particularly true on international and regional markets. So they may already know at the end which retailers they're going to provide your product to. And so they may just be buying from you and give you access to that market, which is very different. It's difficult to access new markets. It's difficult. So if you've got a client already at the end, that's perfect. Like Christopher said, they have specialized services. They may do logistical services or refrigeration services or certification services, and they may be more effective than you having to actually pay somebody to do that work inside your own organization or to buy that equipment. That might be more costly than if you use them at first. Earlier, somebody also mentioned the paperwork. It's really important to work with professional distributors that are able to deal effectively with the paperwork. If you're new to international and regional markets, it's always good to start with a distributor who knows what they're doing, learn from them, and then afterwards, if you can, take over that. But it might be that, when volumes grow, it might not be necessarily something that is attractive to you. The fact that they have a focused effort or in a market or in a product may mean that they're more efficient. So they know about packaging, they know about palletizing, they know about the paperwork, they know the consumers, etc. It might be much quicker to go through it from that. And I think it was Mpofu that said that earlier. Christopher was right. It allows everybody to focus on their own business and then their own customers. You should always analyze what are the pros and cons of using distributors or agents or aggregators in your supply chains. It is true that as the product passes from one hand to another, it becomes more and more expensive, which is why you have the complaints from smallholder farmers saying we're not getting enough of a price, because they will be seeing sometimes the price of that product at the retailer end, and they'll be thinking, well, how does this work? I sold my product, I don't know, for 50 Kenyan shillings, and then in the retailer it's selling for, 500 Kenyan shillings. So it might just be that as that value gets added along the way, and it all depends on your product and the complexity of that product, okay, and its handling. The functions of distributors, and so I'm going to talk about distributors who could be retailers or wholesalers or aggregators, okay? The first one is that as was said before, they provide you with feedback, okay? So they might be able to provide you on information on the quality of your product, what the consumers or the customers are saying about your product, what you need to change about the product, how you can get a better price for the product, etc. So it is in their vested interest for their clients to be able to give you feedback so that you get more money for your product, and then they get more money for their product. That's in their vested interest. They may also be able to offer promotions on your products. So they can do that. They can provide contact. So again, we had talked about a little bit of they know the clients at the other end. So that's a contact function. They might be able to match you with other producers or other companies to make a new product. That could be quite interesting. negotiation. So if you're new to international regional markets and you find it, you know, and this is especially true of smallholder organizations, you find it hard to negotiate on price, the distributor will have already worked that out. He will know what price he can get for the product, and he can negotiate with the client at the end directly. You've got to be careful always to make sure that you're able to sell your product at that price. That's what I would actually say. The physical distribution, they may be able to actually organize the logistics, the refrigeration for you. The financing, this is one of the main issues that I think it comes up time and time again. Cash flow might be an issue. So the reason why you get, agents or middlemen at the farm gate often is because they can provide smallholder farmers with that direct payment immediately. So that's a problem for cooperatives, and you will all be more than aware of that. But a distributor might be able to, and also when you sell to regional and international markets, the payment terms seem to get longer and longer and longer. So it might take anything between 30 days and 60 days to get paid for your product. And the distributor might be able to give you 80% of that price, or buy, immediately. Okay. Or he might be able to buy it from you at the wholesale price and then take that product on. And then to a certain extent, they take a risk. When they place an order for your product, when there is a purchase order that is raised, there's a quantity, there is a price, and they need to give you that price when that is set up from the outset. The trend today is in the distribution channels, and this is mainly for fresh fruit and vegetables, is the process of vertical integration. Can anybody tell me what vertical integration is? So you've got a little image here. Does anybody want to have a little guess at what vertical integration is? Anybody from that chart? What could vertical integration be? Anybody? Should I share the picture again?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, let me share the picture again. Okay. Let me share it again. What does this look like?
Looks like a farm to plate process. Farm to plate, from production to consumption.
Yeah. Okay. So here you've got vertical integration is when all of this distributors here, these are called, let's call them distributors for now. Okay. Here, all of these are controlled by this guy, by the retailer at the end. Okay. So with the supermarkets and the retailers here in Europe and probably in the US, what we are finding more and more is that the stores, the retailers based in Europe and the US control all the process. So they have bought out the distributors in the supply chain to try to make it as efficient and to make it as cost effective as possible. Okay. Because if they control the supply chain, then they can find all of the efficiencies from the moment that your product leaves the farm to the moment it gets stored into the retail stores. And they are getting involved in manufacturing, in processing, in distribution, in logistics, in border crossing. They are doing it all. Okay. So when let's have this question here. I'm just going to copy this. So when deciding on your distribution channels, can you give me an example of the market considerations that you would have to think of when you're deciding on your distribution channels? What does it mean market considerations? When you're going to select
Can
your
I try?
Yes,
Can I try?
go Clement, go.
It means you focus on your target customers. Market on the customers and users of your products.
Okay.
There is now.
Yeah, go on. Carry on.
No, I'm true.
So,
I don't want to.
so when you target on your focus customers, what do you need to think about? Is it where they are physically?
No, who they are.
Who they are.
Where they are. Who they are, where they are. Then, of course, their choice of product, whether they want it processed or they want it fresh or they want it halfway.
Okay.
All those things come into play.
Okay, so that's the product considerations. So in terms of the market, yes, who are your customers, where they are, who they are. Okay, any other ideas?
And what size of the product they need?
The size of the product that they need, yeah. Whether, okay. Whether the product is, so we're talking about products now. Whether the product is what?
Whether it's in boxes of this size or the actual elements like a mango of this size and that ripeness. So
okay.
We need to know that.
Okay. So if you've got a fresh product, you need to get your product to the consumer as quickly as possible, don't you? Because what is that called? That time. So that your product is actually edible and is able to be consumed.
Lead time.
Yes. So the lead time is the time it takes for you to supply the product, but actually we call it the shelf life of your product. Okay, so if you have fresh fruit and vegetables, the shelf life will be shorter than if it's a transformed product and it's in packaging. Okay, so that is, I think that's probably the number one consideration, as well as volume and quality. Are there any other considerations to take into account with when it comes to choosing distributors from your end?
Certification.
Certification, yeah. Anything else?
Consistency.
Yeah. Yeah.
Availability. Some they're only available on Fridays, yet you want 24/7.
Yeah. Availability. Yeah, you can't. So we have fulfillment centers here in Europe that will, you pay that distributor. It's a fulfillment center. They stock your product and then they get paid. They are 24/7 all the time. They can just dispatch the product whenever it gets ordered. So that's a distributor here as well. Okay. Any other considerations for you to think about when it comes to choosing distributors?
I don't know if it's one and the same. Availability may be there, but capacity, because someone will be available, but they may not have the capacity to take the load that is in question. So also capacity. Do they have the refrigerated trucks that will carry this load?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else with any ideas about distributors, especially if they're trying to reach international and regional markets? No? Okay, I'll come and give you some suggestions from Riyadh. I think you've mentioned most of them, to be fair. So let me just so in terms of when it comes to the distributors, you need to think about the number of potential customers that that distributor has, okay? And the geography, where the customers are. Okay, so this is a photo of Rungis in France. It would be quite difficult for you to get to that market without having to use the distributors in the middle, okay? The order size, etc. Okay, you've got to be careful with fresh fruit and vegetables in the EU, because in some of the training sessions in the past, we have had complaints about from mango distributors who were saying that, you know, when they were sending their produce to Rungis market in France, the distributors there were only paying them for the product that they had sold. So if the distributor doesn't have the proper refrigeration, it is not able to get your product through to the retailers fast enough, and the product becomes spoiled, he will only pay you for what he has sold. And we had issues like that raised last time. In terms of the markets and the product, you need to think about the unit value, okay? The value of your product, how much it costs. It's very different selecting processed, manufactured product, which might have more value than it does perhaps selling fresh fruit and vegetable that hasn't been packaged or modified in any way. So you've got to think about that. The perishability is the date, yeah, of course. And then the technical nature of product. You would not believe how many times producers who have made something in a glass jar will complain about the breakages. So breakages is an issue. And the packaging of your product is always going to be an issue. So again, you want to have distributors who have a good track record and have experience of dealing with your sort of products. Okay, so if they've never dealt with glass jars before, I would be very careful, because that's one of the major breakages and one of the major complaints. Some additional thoughts. What we would say is don't close any doors when it comes to distributors or companies that are going to share your product. Be flexible, okay? Think about the resources that you have available to you. And as Christopher said, focus on what you do and what you do best. Evaluate your channels. So just remember to constantly see who is doing what in the supply chain. So monitor the situation. Is that distributor, you know, is the quality still getting to the retailers on time, in good shape? Is the product getting to the retailers on time? Are they able to sell the product for you? Are they able to fulfill the product for you? All of those things you need to evaluate constantly, because it can cost you customers. Think about motivating distributors. Okay, when it comes to international supply chains, and when it comes to perhaps regional supply chains as well, you know, distributors want to get the best price for your product, but also they want to make some money on your product. Okay, so you have to think about margins that are fair for the service that they produce. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about this as we go on today, but think about something that is fair. When you put your product on a promotion in a retailer, which we do a lot here in Europe, we do buy one, get one free, or you get 50% off, or 25% off, or offers of 2 for 1. All of that costs money. So you have to be able to also give the distributor the same knockoff percentage so that he can pass on the promotion. Okay, but you know, try to give them margins if they're doing a good job, and get the volume out of the door. You know, shift the volume. So you should always think about distribution channels and choosing your distribution channels by looking, and this is what Clement said earlier. Work with the customer, know your customer first. Who is your customer? Where are they? And then work back your way back to decide who you're going to choose for this in that distribution, in that supply chain. And then yeah, obviously be flexible. You know, one distribution channel might not be good, but it might be good for another market. And then establish channel control at the end. Okay. Are there any comments on distribution that people would like to make at the moment? Are there anything that
Christina,
anything? Yeah.
This is actually quite interesting. You know, the role of the distributor, whether it's an agent at the domestic market or regional, international market. The agent or the distributor, like our colleagues are saying, is not necessarily an evil person. This is a facilitator who actually makes life easier. I think it was Christopher who actually mentioned that we better focus on what we know best. If I am a farmer and that is actually my strength, I'd rather I focus on my strength to produce the best mangoes that somebody else can actually be able to buy and take to the market. And on a number of occasions, farmers will always complain of being underpaid. But again, if you ask the farmers the cost of the produce that they do, 9 out of 10, they actually do not know the cost of the produce that they are talking about. So it is also important for farmers to get to know the cost of production of the various produce that they do. Now, in terms of distribution at the local domestic market, I can tell you for sure that the distributors actually unlock enormous potential that farmers do not know. For argument's sake, in the city of Nairobi that my sister Susan spoke about, they've got a number of fresh produce market, I think about 5 of them. But for you to get into this market, if you are a farmer, if you do not actually engage the gatekeepers in this market, it becomes a little bit complicated. If you have tomatoes, you'd arrive with the tomatoes at around, say, 6 a.m. in the morning, but then you'll get a buyer at around 3 in the evening. You can imagine the status of your tomatoes at that point in time. So I've had a situation whereby, you know, moving into fresh produce markets in Dar es Salaam, you come across produce from Kenya. You move maybe to Kampala, you come across produce from Kenya, and vice versa. Basically meaning that there are producers in the region of East Africa who actually know the markets and the times in which the markets are actually scarce, the kind of information we are talking about. And able to know that if there is a producer, say in Morogoro, Tanzania, he then understands that there is scarcity at the market in Kampala called Owino market, then he actually bridges the gap. Remember, the farm produce is actually a seasonal commodity, and if you're stuck with it, then your goods are actually cooked. So that is how important the middleman is at the local level. Now, talking about the distributor or the middleman at the international level, assuming you want to do business with Walmart and you're a farmer, it's going to be a major challenge. You better just hand it over to somebody else who is actually a distributor, who's going to lift it from you and take it to that market. Also remember the logistics of getting the produce out of the country. There are people who are actually focusing on the logistics. They know too well that maybe the shipping lines, for instance, in the Republic of Kenya, they actually depart on Mondays and say Thursdays. So there are people with this information. So if the farmer gets into this, it gets complicated. Now, finally, is a matter to do with payments. A number of farmers have actually tried getting into the international market without actually carrying out due diligence, and they have burned their fingers, thinking they're dealing with the right persons, but that in the final analysis, they realized they did not do proper due diligence, and by the end of the day, the buyer, importer in this particular case, has actually disappeared. You are not even in a position to pursue him or her because you do not know where this distributor is actually coming from. So yes, distributors are very important players in the distribution channel of any given fresh produce. I thought I would actually just reinforce that as we move to the next level, Christina.
Okay. Okay. Anybody got any questions or comments about this? No?
Yes, I've a
Go on,
question.
go, Gibson. Go.
Yeah, Can you re-explain the vertical integration you talked about? And does that imply there is such a thing as horizontal integration, or why has it been termed vertical integration? Can you explain again?
I'm not sure why it's really so, but the vertical integration is basically where the retailers in the destination country, so think about Aldi or Walmart, okay, they own all of the processing distribution channels,
okay,
all the way back to your country to be able to get the product out of there. So what they've tried to do, because before, what happens? So let's see if somebody else can help you. What happens when you have a supply chain with lots of little distributors providing different services? What happens? Anybody? What happens to the product and the price of the product? Not very engaged. Anybody? You can
well,
you can
maybe
put your hands.
Maybe loss of quality because of passing the product from one hand to another, which are not related.
Okay, so there's that. Okay, what else happens to the product?
I think the price also goes up.
The price goes up. And then what happens if the price goes up too much?
The consumer suffers. The
And how
customer
does it suffer? Who was that? Who said the consumer suffers? Christopher. So is a consumer that's suffering going to buy the product?
No.
No, the product will not be bought.
The product is going to stay on that shelf and nobody's going to buy it. Okay. So the retailers thought of this fantastic plan, which they said, we're going to control quality, we're going to control pricing, we're going to be super efficient, we're going to get the best shelf life for that product, we're going to sell it for the best price, we're going to take control. And then they bought all those different logistical, they bought them to take control of your product from the raw material to the moment it gets on the shelf. And that's why it's called, here we call it, and I don't know if you have the same in your countries, but white label products. Has anybody heard that definition before? When you provide white label products, has anybody ever heard of that? No?
No.
Okay, so essentially, for example, if you get a retailer like Aldi, they will get the manufacturer, and it can be the manufacturer that does other products. They will get them to do their product in their own packaging. So you can't tell who produced it. You can't see if it was this. You can see which country it came from, but you can't tell who necessarily produced it. It's not got your brand name on there. It's not got your company name on there. It's just in very tiny letters saying this person produced it or this person distributed it. Okay, but yeah.
Sorry for cutting in.
Go.
In this, what does traceability do? Your traceability code you put in maybe your packaging, will it not be put on this package? Because you must know where a product is coming from, so that anybody can go and vet how they produced it. So that's the essence of the traceability, if I'm not making a mistake.
Yeah.
So in such cases, when you scan those codes, the name of the companies come up, the production, the producers immediately.
Okay, so that's only with fresh fruit and vegetables. So that code is only applicable for fresh fruits and vegetables. But if you sell your fresh fruits and vegetables to a wholesaler or a distributor, that product loses its barcode sometimes. Okay, it's the distributor's barcode that goes on there, or the wholesaler's barcode that goes on there, because they might be an aggregator. So they might be getting the volume of the raw material and then selling it on.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
So Gibson, did that answer your question about vertical integration? It could have been called horizontal integration, but I think it's vertical because it goes straight from one end to the other.
No,
Yeah.
I get it now.
Okay, all right. Great. Right. We're going to do a little bit of exercises. Okay. Any other questions or any other last comments before we move on?
Christina.
Yeah.
I've also heard about, I don't know whether it's the same as vertical integration. I heard of just-in-sequence system.
Okay. Has anybody else? What have you heard about just-in-sequence system?
This works where all companies, suppliers are located within a defined radius, so that the product is available on time. So that if they order, of course, I learned this in car manufacturing, that let's say they want a mirror, they want tires, they want shock absorbers. So all these companies bring to this centralized point, and within few hours, maybe 2 hours, a car is done. A brand new car is done because they've got that integration. But I hate that it's just in sequence. So I don't know whether that is also similar to integration, vertical integration, whereby you all have the suppliers within a locality and they're able to supply on time.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Christopher. Does anybody know about this already? Anybody else on this call? Anybody?
None.
No. Okay, Tom, do you know about this?
It is more in the manufacturing sector than in fresh produce. He's given a very good example of, car manufacturing companies or electronic manufacturing companies. I also know of, oil companies, being closer to the packaging material suppliers. Remember, this cannot qualify to be vertical integration, because vertical integration basically means that the company has got ownership across the nodes, all the nodes within the supply chain. But this one can be called a strategic alliance, if you like. It could perhaps even in certain quarters pass for a joint venture, very rarely. But for me, I would look at it as more of a strategic alliance, than vertical integration. But yes, it does happen. There is a bit of similarity, but the deviation is in the fact that vertical integration, all the processes are actually owned by the major player along the supply chain. So that would be the difference there.
Okay. I think I have heard of something like this when it comes to sourcing. But I think it's like Tom says, it's usually to do with the processing time. So, or it's an aggregator that's buying from lots of different producers in a region to try to get a volume. But then usually that's going to be processed or exported. But that's the only time that we've heard it. But yeah, you've both said it, just in time or just in sequence is mainly for manufacturing processes. Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Anybody, any other questions? I always like to ask people to help each other here. No? Okay, right. Let's go on to pricing. Let me just share my screen quickly. And then, this is about financial planning, okay? We're going to do a little exercise here and get you working together. So, how do you estimate the costs and set prices for your market? Okay. So the first thing to remember is price is the only element in your marketing mix, in what you do as a company, that actually produces revenue, right? This is how you get your money. You don't get your money from anything but from that product that you're selling. Okay, it's perceived as the marketing decision that is the most important and crucial, and the one that you have the most control over, right? You have control over this at your level, but you don't necessarily have control over it when it leaves your level. And this is very important for you to realize this. Okay, so it's important to know that you can only control what you have here, but once that product is left, you don't have any control over it, and anybody can do anything to that product and change it or put the price up, etc. And it's the most flexible variable when it comes to a marketing mix. The most fundamental aspect of price is the value of your product. It's the value that the consumers are willing to put on your product, how that product is perceived, how much it's demanded, whether it's available, how valuable is it to the consumer at the end. So what I would like us first, I would like us to have a little brainstorm. And if you can put on your cameras, that would be great. For you to tell me how you set your prices for the product in the local market first. How do you set a price for your product in the local markets? What do you do to find out how much you're going to sell your product for? You can put your hands up.
I don't know how to put my hands up.
Humphrey raised his hand. Go ahead, Humphrey.
We first consider the cost, how much we've spent to produce the products. Then we put a markup for the product. That now determines the final price that goes to the consumer.
Okay. Does everybody else do this as well? Thank you very much, Humphrey. Does anybody do anything different to Humphrey when it comes to setting the price for the product? This is for the local market.
You also consider labor, how much it costs you to harvest, for example, the avocado.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to factor in that in your price. And also the competition. I mean, how much is the neighbor selling it for?
Haha. Yeah. I think between the two of you, you've got it. So that's good. So the competition and how much your neighbor's selling it for. Okay. So cost.
One more.
Hello, Christopher, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm also thinking you may have a break-even kind of price whereby you want to penetrate the market, so you're not interested in higher margins or not even making a loss, but you just want to break even. As long as you penetrate the market, people are able to know that you are there on the market.
Okay, that's a very interesting comment that you've just made. So when you're first entering a market, it's hard. It's really hard. So you want consumers to be able to buy from you or to be attracted by your price, but you don't want to lose any money, and it's really important not to lose any money. Okay, very good. So when you're entering the market, so we've got cost, markup, labor, competition, entering a new market. Okay. What about sets? How do you set your product, how do you set your price for the product on a regional market or an international market?
Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you, Isaac.
Hello? How do you find out then what the prices are in the different markets that you're going to enter? Then you've got the setting the price, but how do you find it?
I was happy already. It was Thursday next week.
Go on, Clement. Clement Sorry, did you say something?
I think he's in another meeting.
Right.
Ah, okay. Let me mute him. Okay. So where do you go and find what your competitors are doing on the local market? Where do you find those prices? Because it's really important to know what the market is, what the prices on the market are. So when you go to a local, if you're thinking about local market, where do you get your information? Go on. Have a guess. It's not complicated. It sounds like we've got the same people. Yvonne,
You can do desk research.
you can do desk research. Okay. What, the internet? Okay. Where else? Where else can you find in prices? Yvonne? Where else can you find prices? Rachel? Okay. Go
I
ahead.
think you can find you can do benchmarking with your competitors. Then you can be able to know the prices of the market, and also that you have said you can also go online, and you can
Yeah.
also visit the marketplace yourself and see maybe if they are having a distributor, like maybe they're selling in the supermarkets. You can just walk in and check the rates of your competitors.
Okay. Would you, have any of you ever bought the products of your competitors? Is that what you mean by the benchmarking to
Yeah.
test? Mhm.
Yeah.
Would you say that that is important?
Yeah, I have bought several from my competitors so that I know how much they're selling at.
Okay, all right. And then you price your product accordingly. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I think you've got it all. You're all good on price. Okay. So again, last week I sent you some links to the if you're going to if you're thinking about the international markets, I send you some links to Amazon, Ocado, and Carrefour, but definitely use those links for the retail prices. Okay. We're just going to do an exercise now. Does anybody want to have a go at pricing? I think I'm going to do the exercise on the mangoes, Tom. It'll be easier. So let's look at this. So okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to find out. We're going to do a group exercise. I'm going to split you into 3 groups, and we're going to price the product, which is mango. It's based on a case study. So what I want you to do is to research the price for your products, local, regional, or international. Think about what is the best way to distribute to the market and develop the supply chain. But actually, what we're going to do in this particular exercise is decide at what price you're going to sell and why. We would have done 1 and 2 if we'd had a bit more time, but we're a bit tight on time. So I want you, I'm going to send you a document on the email and I want you to open it. Okay. I can read it to you as well. So let me see the chat. Okay, let me see if I can attach. I don't think I can attach anything here. All right, yes. We can't attach anything on this anymore, no? No. File, here we go. Your computer. So if you go to your chat, you've got you're gonna have a Word document here. It won't move it for me. Okay, it's just loading. Can everybody see this case study on the attached chat? Did it come through?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll quickly
Right,
take.
the 3 weeks case study.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Right, I'll quickly take you through it, and then I'm going to split you into groups, and then you're going to come back and give me the price for your product, based on what you've just done. Okay. So, I want you to just read the case study below. So have a look at the diagrams. Have a look at what it says there. I want you to select a representative from your group to feed back to everybody else. If possible, they can write it on a page and then it can be fed back. So your farm, this is the key stuff. You have 50 mango trees. You spend 40,000 Kenyan shillings on inputs per season, and you use family labor. You don't hire anybody. You remember 50 mango trees can have an average of 200 fruits per tree. And then the average farm gate price for the mango is Kenya 3.5 shillings. This is a bit old, okay? It's just to see how you would price this up. So you're going to determine the price set on the different market prices below. So here you have farmers, the price that they sell, the vendors, the price that they sell, the wholesaler, the price that they sell, and the processors and the price that they sell. And all I want you to do really is to fill out your pricing plan here. So in Kenyan shillings based on that information. The cost of production per fruit, the price that customers are willing to pay per fruit, your competitors' prices per mango fruit. If you can do a bit of research, that would be wonderful, but only if you have time. The price per mango fruit that you're going to charge and the discounts that you're going to give to different customers based on that. Okay? Is that clear? Any questions?
Yeah.
All clear, right. I'm going to split you into 3 groups and then you will feedback. And we're just gonna have a quick 10 minutes to work out that pricing, okay? And then I'll bring you back and feedback. Yeah? Right. I'm going to put you into different groups. I will come along and help. So if you can just join the breakout rooms when it comes, okay? I'm going to open the rooms. Rachel, Noellen, Adaremi, Yvonne. Okay, here we go. Christopher, are you able to join one of the breakout rooms? Christopher? Tom, I might have to send you to room 3 to help. I don't think, is that okay? But no, I've got Rachel and Rhoda there. Clement and Susan here. Oh, somebody's leaving. Christopher, can you join?
He's not hearing.
No. Well, here. Christopher. He's gone. Adaremi, can you join? Adaremi?
Adaremi is not there. Let me get into group 3. I think yes, I can see one has entered. Let me just get into group 3.
No.
Which I was just asking you to volunteer.
Okay, so let me just share my screen.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Share. So Rhoda, can you be able to see
No, I can't see.
my screen?
You have
I'm
a,
just seeing my
Loading.
name.
you have a challenge sharing.
Yeah, I've started sharing. Your screen is sharing, but it's still loading.
Okay, you can wait.
Stop share.
Alternatively, because it is 10 minutes, can I help you by sharing?
Okay.
Let me see.
Because it's actually sharing and it's sharing, yeah.
Let me help you.
I've stopped sharing.
You have stopped sharing. Okay.
Yeah.
Just hold on a check for mine. Just hold on a check for mine and Councilman is not coming up. No. Hold on. I could be having so many things on my screen. That's be stopping me from really sharing.
Okay. So can you be able to see mine?
Yes, you can see yours.
Okay. So a smallholder farmer with 50 mango trees. Per tree, the farmer is getting 200 fruits, and per season, he's estimating to get 10,000 trees, 10,000 mangoes, 10,000 pieces of mangoes. He doesn't use any labor, just use money on inputs, that is 40,000 Kenyan shillings. So we are asked to determine the pricing based on different market prices below. So the mango distribution across the chain, farmers and vendors often sell their produce at throwaway prices for fear of losses occasioned by the perishable nature of the fruit. So for this particular farmer is selling at 3 shillings and 50 cents per mango. Then the vendors, they sell at double the price at 7 shillings. And 85%, actually it's too small, I can't see.
You can increase.
I'm just seeing 5%.
You can increase it to maybe 125%. This is 100%. Can you enlarge your screen a little bit?
Let me try.
There is the plus sign at the right-hand side down there.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Increase it to maybe 125 or something.
Yeah, 85% is sold to brokers. Then 13% of farm produce sold directly to wholesale traders. The selling price per mango is 7 shillings and 60 cents at wholesale per piece. Then 5% of farm produce is sold directly to processors. So they sell at 3 shillings per mango to the process, at 30 shillings per mango. Selling price per processed mango is 30. No, the selling price per processed mango is 30 shillings. But they don't tell us how much they sell to the processors. Because I think this 30 shillings is the price of the juiced mango. What do you think?
I think so. I think it's the bottle that's going for, the juice bottle. Yeah,
So if 85% is sold to brokers, it is 85 over 100 times the 10,000 fruits to get how much, isn't it?
Yes, through that you'll be able to get the volume. Or that the quantity.
Yeah. The volume they send to the vendors, and they also 13 over 100 times the 10,000 to get what we sell to the wholesalers, and then for processors, yeah, and the 5% we can also get. So if we do that, we can be able to tell the volumes that they do sell.
Somebody can crack the numbers for you.
Yeah. Can you do that, Emma? Is it Emma?
You've got Rhoda and Yvonne.
I'm not very good at numbers like that. Maybe Yvonne.
Yvonne, are you there? Hi, Yvonne.
Let me get a calculator. Okay, so the numbers are what?
It's 85% of 10,000.
It's 8,500.
And then 13% of 10,000.
It's 1,300.
And then 5% of 10,000.
And this is 500.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you already have the volumes across those channels.
Yeah. Fill out a cost of production per parameter of pricing, cost of production per fruit. And then we need to get the price that customers are willing to pay per fruit. And then competitors. Wow.
One step at a time.
Okay.
You are it. Cost of production per fruit.
Yeah. So if we are selling as vendors.
Hold on, Rachel. You
Yes.
have 10,000 fruits, right?
Yes.
And the cost of production?
Right. Is 40,000.
Yes, just crack the math.
10,000.
It's 40,000 minus 8,500 for the vendors.
I wouldn't wish to get involved directly. But what I'm trying to put across, the cost of production has been stated to be 40,000 overall, right?
Yes. Yes.
And then we have 10,000 units. Is that not so? So
Yes.
10,000 units is equal to 40,000. So how much is 1 unit?
So how much is 8,500 units, isn't it? So it will be 8,500 times times 40,000 divide by 10,000. So you can do that math for us.
We are looking at the cost of one fruit.
Yes, the cost of one fruit.
Yeah.
25 cents.
Pardon?
It's 40.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that math.
Okay, let me do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it will be 8,500 times 4. Hi. That will be 34,000.
Class in
No.
math. This one is
No, it's a bit wrong, isn't it? The math is wrong.
What you do, Rachel?
Are we going to do the 40,000?
Rachel, divide
Yes.
40,000 by 10,000.
for Bob.
I get 4 shillings.
Yes.
Yes.
Because remember, the overall cost of production is 40,000. Right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about 10,000 fruits. So cost of production per unit is 4 shillings. All right?
The cost of production.
Yes, per fruit.
One fruit.
Per unit.
Yes.
Is 4 shillings.
Yes, based on that calculation. Now, if the cost of production is 4 shillings per unit,
Mhm.
how much will you be selling as a farmer at FarmGate?
If I have 8,500, is it units?
Pardon?
If I have for the vendors, if I have
Make it simple.
Mhm.
Rachel, are you with me?
Yes.
Make it simple. The cost of production, you've actually found it out to be 4 shillings, right? Then ask
Right.
yourself, if you're producing at 4 shillings, how much are you going to sell at FarmGate? Okay. Say you want to do a markup of maybe 15%.
Yeah, at 8 bob.
Pardon?
8 shillings.
Because you must make money.
Yes.
Yes.
So if the cost of production is
It's
if the
4
cost
shillings.
of production is 4 shillings,
Mhm.
then
So if that
if
is
the
the
cost of
case,
Mhm.
if that is the case, then it basically means that the people who are actually buying more, these vendors who are buying 85%, you better give them a better price. Right?
You can't sell at the cost of production, so you have to put a margin for
Yes,
yourself.
definitely. That's what I'm
isn't it?
asking you to do a margin.
So if you're telling me to put a margin of 50%, it's
No,
like I'm adding 2
15%.
shillings.
50% is impossible. Call it maybe 15%.
Or 15%.
Call it 15% of that.
15% of 4 shillings.
Yes. Basically, basically, where's my calculator here? 1.25 times 4 shillings. 4 shillings and 60 cents.
So it's going to be 4 shillings and 50 cents.
Yes. 1 minute
So
left.
the selling price, if you put a 15% margin, is going to be 4 shillings and 50 cents.
Yes, so that one
selling at the market level.
Yes, so that one is the price in which you need to sell to this 85%. Then the other guys, because they're buying less, you give them a slightly higher price.
Maybe like a margin of 20.
Yes.
20%.
Yes, so that
It will be
makes it around
20.
6 shillings or something.
Yeah.
It is 6 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, then you see how you can cascade it across those other ones.
Okay, sawa.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you are together.
I hope your colleagues are following.
Yes. Yes, we are following.
I haven't heard from Yvonne.
So we need to find the price that customers are willing to pay per fruit, which is already indicated here. They're willing to pay, the vendors are willing to pay 7 bob. The wholesalers,
five shilling or 4 shilling 50, because you are not spending any money moving it out of your environment.
Hi, Clement. You're
Yeah.
back.
There's
So,
never time.
so,
There's never time.
perhaps we could just feedback. Just take 1 minute very quickly, each group, to feedback. We'll try to leave on time today. So, Clement's group, who wants to feedback from there? There was Clement, Christopher, and Susan. Who would like to share the screen quickly and give us a little bit of background into how they've priced the product and why?
Let me take that on behalf of Clement and Susan, if that's okay. How many minutes do I have?
Just 1 minute. Just tell us why.
Say a minute.
1 minute.
1 minute. 1 minute.
So for us to produce 10,000 mangoes, it's costing us 4 shillings per mango. So we have agreed that we can sell at 3.5. It's not going to make business sense. It's below the cost of production. So for us to make sense out of our investment, we have agreed that we can sell at least at 7.3 shillings, so that we are in between the competitors. Those that would sell at 7 and some are selling at 7.6. Let's sell at 7.3. And also agreed that we can offer some discounts if one gets more than 1 million mangoes. We'll offer 1% discount. Thank you.
Okay, you can leave it on. Just leave that on. Does anybody have feedback on that or disagree with that? Anybody have feedback?
Just a concern that the customers are willing to pay much lower than the cost of production. That's a problem there.
Yeah. It's a massive problem. Okay. Anybody else?
And how did they arrive at the cost of production?
How do they work out their cost of production?
Yes.
Okay.
Susan, rescue.
Yeah, it's well, the case states already that where are we now? According to the case, we have 10,000 mangoes and production, the known cost of production is 40,000. So that does not take into account family labor. So we just took that as it is. We did not factor in family labor, and we did 40,000 divided by 10,000.
So the family labor, they just working for free?
Well, not necessarily. Well, they don't get paid. So they don't factor it because they don't get paid to work on the farm. It's not factored in when they count the actual cost of production. However, that does not mean that's the correct way to do it, because even if it's family labor, then you should assume that should you ever need to employ somebody, what would it cost? And then you factor it on there.
Okay.
We factor that.
That's why we're selling.
We factor that. That's why we are not selling at 4 shillings per mango.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's move on to group 2 and we'll see what they've got. Humphrey's group. Thank you very much. We'll come back to you. Thank you, Christopher. You're so quick.
I stopped sharing.
Yes,
Thank
please.
you. Yes.
Humphrey's group. Would you like to share your screen quickly? So it was Humphrey. Was it Gibson? Were you with Gibson? Humphrey.
Yes. I let others start first.
Okay. So you have a minute feedback. Let's look at your figures.
Yes. Uh,
Are you able to share your screen? Who was sharing the screen earlier? We can move on to group 3 if you're finding it difficult, Humphrey. Ah, no, you got it. Okay, got it. Okay.
so for us, the cost of production was 22 shillings. And the price that the customer willing to pay, we found it at 30, while the competitors' price per mango, per fruit, was 37.6. We didn't have enough time to finish the other two, the remaining two.
Okay.
Yes, but those are the ones that we found so quickly. Sure.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Any questions or feedback from the rest of the group? Yeah. Got very different figures. No? No feedback. Nobody wants to say anything.
Yes.
The di-
Yeah,
the
no,
di-
no
the
feedback,
different
please.
figures are coming from we factored in the family labor where we estimated at 5 per month for each of the 3 members of the family working for 12 months caring for the mango.
Yeah.
And that came to a total of 180,000 plus 40,000 for inputs. We came to a total of 220,000 Kenyan shillings. So divide by the number of fruits, that's where the 22 is coming from.
Okay.
We did that just to make it a little bit more practical.
And where did you get your 37.60 from the competitors' prices for mango fruit? Where did you get that one? So the price that customers are willing to pay is the fruit juice, but where did you get £37.60, 37 Kenyan shillings 60? Where did that come from?
It's a bourgeois. It's a bourgeois.
Oh, he's cutting off. Ah, wholesale. You've added wholesale and processors. Okay. Okay. I'm
Sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry. It's fine. It happens. Okay, we can see it. Who wants to go? Thank you very much. Thank you for doing that. Group 3.
Okay, for grouping, I'm trying to share to get into the Padlet again. It's refusing. It's just loading.
Oh, it's not in the Padlet.
On my
Did you upload it on the Padlet? Did you?
No, I'm saying it's just loading. It's not, so I can't be able to share.
Do you want to tell us?
Yeah.
We'll write it down. Go on then.
If somebody else could share so that I see the screen, then I could be able to share because we didn't get enough time. But what we did, our cost of production we got was 4 shillings.
Yep.
Because we did the 40,000 divide by the 10,000 fruits that were being produced, so we got 4 shillings.
Yep.
So then we decided that we have to put a markup because we can't sell at cost of production. So we put a markup of 15%, and so that we sell per fruit at 4 shillings and 50 cents, only to the 85%, the first group of people. And then the second group of people and the third, we decided that we have to increase our markup because they're also making more profits. So we didn't do it at 15%, but we moved it to 20%, and we got around 6 shillings and some cents. then we didn't get time to go into competitors and all that stuff.
Okay. Okay. You got very different. Apart from you got the same cost of productions there. Group 3 and Group 1. Thank you very much for doing that exercise. What did you notice in the feedback that you all gave? What were the main differences? Where's the confusion? Where is the difference there?
Okay, I think Group 2, they went an extra mile, so they factored in that the family labor is not for free, which is really true in this current world. So that's why the differences are. But for Group 1 and Group 2, we just use the figures that we were given.
Yeah.
We were not proactive.
Yeah. What are the things that you have to be careful with the pricing? What is it that you're finding difficult with the pricing?
Can I say something? Can I say?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When considering prices in any goods or commodity, you need to, after considering your cost of production and your inputs, of course, you get your average price of production, and you know that you must move your product out of the farm most of the time. From the little diagram you gave us, it means that 85% of the people buying the fruit were buying for 7 shilling, majority, meaning that if you want to go into the market and you have good quality food, 7 shilling is your benchmark. Now you have an upper limit of 7.6 shillings there from the wholesalers. If you can afford to get to the 13% of wholesalers in the market, then of course the processing is out of it because you are selling fresh mango. It's a different ball game. Process is a different ball game. So we are focusing on just the wholesalers and the majority of the distributors around there. So your price should fall between the price of the distributor and the price of the wholesaler, depending on how you negotiate or bargain.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mystical art.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to try and move the pricing around. You have to try to work out which markets you can get to and where you can get the best price. Because at the farm gate it's very bad, but yeah, you've got to try to work out. Well done, Gibson, for putting the smallholder pricing in there, making sure that they got paid. That's a problem very often with smallholder cooperatives, that they don't price things according to what the actual cost is. And that means that a lot of smallholders are leaving. They want to leave farming because they're not getting paid enough as well. And it's too hard a market. So they
and
might
you are
want
dealing with perishable items, so you need to think fast.
Yeah, you need to think fast. There is one thing that I would say to you is, if you wanted to give a discount for 1 million, you've got to think that that's times, 10,000 times 100. You could give a discount perhaps of more than 1%, perhaps 5%.
Mine was 0.5%.
I agree, Christina. 1% that for a million, that's a lot. It's a lot.
Christopher actually said 1%.
No,
Christopher said more than 1%. I said 1%. I said sorry. That's what I'm saying. Sorry. I said Christopher actually was fighting for more than 1%. I insisted it should be 1% or 0.5. You know why? If you calculate 1% of 1 million, or is it 10 million we used, Christopher?
We use 1 million.
If you have calculated 10 million, you are talking about 10,000 mango fruits.
Yeah.
This guy is too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. So discounts come in small bits so that it pushes you to buy. This is my specialty. This is what I used to eat. Pricing.
I mean, if you said to me 1% off, I'd go.
Because
don't worry about me. Just forget about me.
Okay, we have 1.5%. We'll tell you the quantity you are getting.
Everybody wants a deal.
10,000.
Everybody wants a deal.
It's one-on-one, face-to-face kind of deal. Then you can come up with your best. If you just put 5% there, Too much. No, it's too much.
Okay.
50,000 mango. No.
Clement,
Okay.
don't be so mean, Clement.
It's so mean. That is so mean. Honestly, I was like 1%.
You want all the money.
Okay,
all.
but you can see that, you know, pricing is actually, it's a bit of an art. It's not very
Yes.
easy to get right, but you have to get it right. Otherwise, you will be knocked out. You've got to at least cover your cost of production and make sure that people can survive. Give some discounts to your bigger buyers for different volumes. That always works. And then just try to incentivize that way. We give, for example, discounts based on the number of cases that somebody will buy of coffee from us. So we say you buy 100 cases, you get this price. You buy 300 cases to 500, 100 to 300 cases, you get this price. 300 to 600 cases, you get this price. Just to try to incentivize volume sales, and that can work. Okay,
Christina,
right.
there is something
Yeah?
they need to appreciate. There is something they need to appreciate on fruits.
Yeah.
And this is that if you're talking about 200 fruits per tree, you are basically in your first year of harvesting, right? So the following year, you are likely to get about 300 fruits per tree. On the 5th year of harvesting, it's likely to be 600. 10 years of harvesting, you'll actually be doing about 2,000 fruits per tray. So it is actually possible that in the first year, you'd rather probably just break even, okay? And then you will be making profits in the subsequent years. That is actually the magic about, fruit farming. And I'm sure our colleagues from Malawi who are doing mangoes will actually appreciate this. Right.
What if you have issues along the way? Maybe the mango, maybe you have one fire that burned one sector of the farm, but these mangoes, as they are growing older, their production capacity reduces.
No, if you do best agronomic practices, year 15, you're still harvesting massively.
Okay.
If you manage your orchard very well.
You can sustain the harvest. Okay.
Yes,
whatever pricing you get, you should be building in some a bit of a buffer to kind of cover. So when we look at food in here, for example, when we retail our food here, we build in like a anything between 20 and 25%.
25%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything between the two. Because sometimes we have to give the promotions and it goes down, so you have to build that in. You have to build in that buffer. Otherwise, you can't invest, you can't grow. You're constantly with a rope around your neck, and that makes it too difficult. And you can't, you have to pay for development. You have to pay to visit trade shows. You have to pay to visit markets. You have to pay to, you have to pay for all of that. So anyway, right, I'm going to give you your homework. And then we're going to choose 3 people. Don't drop off. We're going to choose 3 people. Don't drop off the call. So obviously do your independent work and your self-assessment in module 3. What we would like you to do really is to look at your competition this week. So we want you to look at the people that produce the same products as you in your local, regional, and international export market. So we want you to look at where the product is from, look at what product they're offering. Is it raw? Is it packed? Have they transformed it into a juice or dried fruit or something? Who is marketing that product? We want you to look at the exporters, the retailers who sell, marketing. When we say marketing, it's also selling that product, okay? Then we want you to do some research on the quality and the price of those products. If you already have, was it Rachel that had done benchmarking? Rachel, was it you? If you've already benchmarked the other products, it would be really interesting to, get some idea of the pricing of the other products, get some samples, and then at least, you can start pricing your product. And then look at any links to retail clients, if there are any retailers that are selling it. And then we want you to fill out a competitive analysis, okay? So when you've done that research, we want you to Look at, the company specific information. You don't have to fill it all, but we want you to just, get an idea of the size, how old it is, if it has any investors, if it's got a customer base, what you think of the strengths and weaknesses. Those are the main points. Then we want you to look at the target customer and the message that they are putting out about the product, what they're saying on the product, who's the primary buyer, which audience, know your customer. Clement had said it. Know which customer you're selling to. Who are the other buyers of that product? Who are you going to target? And what are the key messages? And then product specific, look at what your competitors, so this is your competitor here. Huh? Look at what they are offering in the features, in sizes, in packaging, and then look at the pricing, look at the product strength, the product weaknesses, any customer reviews that you can find on the internet. And then finally, just think about how you're going to try to beat that competitor and why the customer should choose you. Okay, so if you can do it if you have multiple competitors, that would be great. But if you can only find one competitor, that's fine as well. We just want you to be able to do the research. And then finally, look at a regional or international market that you might want to get to, and then choose your distribution channel. Okay. Look at any opportunities and constraints. Okay. And then obviously price your product for different markets if you can get this far. Okay, especially on the international and regional if you want to do exports. It's all on the platform. Is everything clear? Tom and I are here every week waiting for you to contact us if you need help. Some people have contacted us, but a lot of people don't contact us. But please just get in touch if you want us to help you with it, or if you want us to feedback on it. Okay? Do what you can. So, Rachel, would you like to have a go at presenting some information this week?
Okay.
Oh, you sound almost like, anybody else? Would anybody else like to volunteer? Let me ask for volunteers. Does anybody want to volunteer to do a bit of that this week? No? We've picked on Rhoda twice, so I don't want to pick on her. Humphrey, have you done any presentations yet? Humphrey? Last time he tried to leave.
I think Malawi have done it. Yeah, let's go to another country.
Oh, did you do the presentation did you do the presentation?
No, I did not. A colleague from Malawi, Christopher, did the presentation.
Right. Okay. So you've already presented this homework? No. Is it Christopher down here? Christopher Banda. It belongs to Gibson, no?
That's right.
Okay. So, Humphrey, would you like to have a little go at presenting your homework? Do what you can, but everybody else has done a little bit, because I think we gave it to you the first week. Humphrey.
All right. That's fine.
Okay.
All right. I'll do it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Humphrey. I volunteered you even after all of that. And then Clement. You got poorly the first week. We still haven't seen the homework, but would you like to do the exercise?
Which homework are you seeing? That first one, I just did it like that. I have not read though.
Okay. So would you like, can you do a short presentation and present back to the group?
On this one now?
Yeah. On your competitors
How do we
and
do
your
it?
pricing.
On pricing?
On the competitors and the pricing, the one that I just presented to you.
Yeah, they are in the group, right?
Yes.
I'll try.
Okay. Or try.
Yeah. If I have issues, I'll call you now.
Oh no, if you're going to cry
I'll
off,
call
don't
Tom.
do it. Don't do it. If you're not gonna do it, don't tell me you'll do it. I'd rather you tell me I can't do it. I would rather people were 100% I can't do it. Try something, but try even a part of it. But can I get
I'll
a
try.
okay?
I'll,
Okay, Clement.
as long as I can navigate it, I'll try.
Okay, can you
And
navigate?
when I have issues,
Can you navigate the platform?
yes.
Okay, so the homework is on there, module 3.
Okay. When I
Okay.
have hiccups, I'll call.
Okay, well, we're here. I keep telling you all we're here. Tom, I think you wanted to quickly pick up on the platform very quickly.
Yeah.
Sure. Let me just see if
Who's having problems on the platform still? Can you raise your hand? If they're not here, we'd just go. Tom, let me just check that people are, yeah, go ahead. Just show them where the homework is, if that's okay.
right.
Gibson.
I hope you're seeing it. Oh, Gibson, you got a question?
I asked him to raise his hand if he was having problems on the platform.
Yes.
But Gibson, I will come back to you because it was, I think you got something that was out of date, but you're obviously able to access it. So, Tom, we just need to be.
All right. Quickly, thank you very much. There is actually very little time. But this is what we are actually supposed to be doing. This is actually directly on the platform. There are quite a number of materials here that you need actually just to go through. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the way you need actually just to appreciate what is actually here. It's not so much of information, yeah, but it's actually something that is. Hold on.
Tom, this is week 2.
Yeah, I think I'm on the wrong platform. Sorry for that, guys. Just hold on. Just hold on. Just realized it was actually a wrong one. Okay, we are in module 3. Just hold on. All right, that is module 3. So that's about the objectives. So I just want to invite you to go through this literature that is here. It's actually going to help you understand the module better and equally to do your assignments better. And then, of course, in the final analysis, there is actually this quiz that you also need to do. It builds up into the marking system that you'll actually employ to be able to help you get your grades eventually. There is also this break-even point section. You need actually just to go through it to really appreciate that, because it is at the information that is here is actually going to help you appreciate the break-even point a lot more better. Then we also have a video clip on pricing. We also have a video clip that I think you also just need to spare some time and go through this video clip. Of course, we have competitive analysis framework. Video on calculating break-even point is also very good, relevant information for you. Video on calculating, break-even point in terms of sales revenue is equally good reference material that you need to. So you can actually appreciate quite a lot of information that you have here. And then in this particular section, you will actually be asked, a very simple question in terms of what you actually appreciated out of this module. But I want to tell you that this is assignment that will come by the end of this week, that is actually on Thursday. And of course, in the final analysis, after we will actually have finished on Thursday, you need to attempt this test here, the weekly test that we normally do. Quite a number of us have actually submitted last week's test, but quite a number of us equally have actually not done those ones. So because limited time, we are not actually able to go through each and every single step here. But please kindly take your time, go through the modules, read the literature that is actually available there, spare some time to go through the video. They will equally help you in terms of understanding the module, and equally reinforcing the kind of exercise we've actually been asked to do and submit on Thursday as we assemble again. Otherwise, if there is any burning question, we might not be in a position to answer all of them in class. So kindly feel free, call me, text me, talk to Christina. We'll always be available to support you. If at all there is also issues to do with navigation of this platform, we'll be glad to share what we know so that you have ease with which you can actually be able to answer some of these questions. Other than that, thank you very much for your attention. Thank you so much, Christina. Thank you so much, team. Let's stay tuned and hopefully meet on Thursday, same time. Thank you.
Yeah, so sorry we have gone overboard today. We've gone 20 minutes over. But yes, we'll let you go, and then I will share the recording and put it on the framework, and we will see you Thursday at the same time. Okay?
Oh, yeah, sure. Bye.
It was exciting.
See you guys on Thursday.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Right.
Can you stop the recording, Tom?
Oh, sorry.
Okay.